Nachdem ich gerade mit Dom Russalok ein Demo gespielt habe, in dem es um die Nichtigkeit des Seins von Jugendlichen im Russland der 90er Jahre ging, hoffe ich, dass sich jetzt hier Heroisches ereignen wird. Nämlich über das Leben in Zeiten, als es noch keine Nichtigkeit, noch keine Entropie der Gesellschaft gab.
The story of my life remains written on these pages. My fate has always been my own. Every deed, every choice, and every person I met made me what I am. Could I have really taken a different path? Found a different calling? Altered the very course of history? And what price would I have to pay?
The Life and Suffering of Sir BRANTE. In times of the fall of... Ich war nicht schnell genug. In times of the fall of the blessed Archnean Empire. Okay, ein fiktives Empire, wohl. Was mir gerade auffiel ist, es gab lange Zeit gab es den Fall, dass ich deutsche Synchronsprecher sehr mochte und praktisch alle englischen Filme, also alle Filme, die englisch synchronisiert waren, sprich zum Beispiel Animes oder so, dass die englischen Sprecher nie sehr gut waren. Oder auch Voice-Overs waren im Deutschen weitaus besser als im Englischen. Das ist seit geraumer Zeit jetzt anders. Die meisten düsteren deutschen Stimmen klingen alle gleich und gleich cool und hart und langweilig. Hier direkt, ne, osteuropäisches Spiel, englischer Sprecher, sehr macho, aber sehr, sehr gut. Gucken wir mal. Oh, ich darf mir einen Namen geben. Ich dachte BRANTE. Ich darf einen Vornamen haben. Sir, wie nannte man sich denn in Archnean Empire? Sir Volibert. Meine Tastatur ist immer noch kaputt, ich brauche mal eine neue. Sir Volibert BRANTE. Das klingt sehr oldschool, oder? Chapter restarts. Disabled. You will not be able to go back to your previous chapters and change your decisions. This is recommended game mode. You will live the character's life from start to finish and endure all mistakes. Natürlich werde ich das tun. Natürlich werde ich das tun. Ich stehe zu meinen Entscheidungen. Und Consequences. Open. You will see the consequences of your possibility choice in advance. This is the recommended game mode, as you will be able to direct the character's fate in a way you want. Okay. Hier kann ich mich überraschen lassen. Interessant, dass das hier vorausgewählt ist, ne? Also, dass ich schon auf Iron Man gehe, nicht einfach zurück kann. Und die Konsequenzen mir trotzdem vorher angezeigt werden. So als Vorahnung, nehme ich mal an. Before you lies the story of a single man. You will take on the role of Sir BRANTE and determine his goal and fate in life, from his birth to his true death. Our hero is unfortunate enough to be born in a cruel and ruthless world, one that is different from ours in many ways that may not be immediately apparent. This means that you must be ready to learn the ways of this world one step at a time. Your every decision will affect our hero's personality and family, his friends and foes, and even the outcomes of important events. The decisions you make will ultimately influence the state of affairs throughout the nation. When given a choice, choose whatever feels right for the world and for yourself. How will you live this life entrusted into your care? Will Sir BRANTE turn the tide of history, or will he be ground into dust by the millstone of fate? This is for you to decide. Schön geschrieben. Klick. Es scheint sehr, sehr textorientiert zu sein. Schauen wir mal. At the end of time, your fingers are stained with ink. Your breathing grows ragged, your hands are shaking, yet the words begin appearing on the page before you one by one, clinging together to form a chronicle of your own life. Who are you, and how did you reach this end? You were born, raised, and lived your entire life in the blessed Archnean Empire. In this land, a man's destiny is predetermined at the moment of his birth, whether human or Archnean. Human or Archnean? Nobleman, priest, or low-born commoner, all bend to the divine will of the twin gods, and each life is naught but a single cog in the universe's immeasurable machine. The memories come flooding back. They engulf you as a merciless wave, binding together days that are thrice dead and gone. The dreams of your childhood, your adolescence, your youth spent in the capital, years of peace teeming with life, and a war drenched in blood. High ranks and lowly deeds, opulent palaces, secretive city backstreets, fields of battle, and faces, so many faces of the people you held dear, the people who walked this road by your side. Such was your life, now all exposed by ink erupting onto the page. With your every step you sought to change the world as you saw fit. The choices of your upbringing, the path you carved in your youth, the fruits of your struggle, the consequences of your sacrifice, all of it led you to here, to the end of your time. And every choice had a price. Now, years and years later, the crossroads of your life echo in your memory, the pain and joy inextricably intermingled. Nett übrigens, ne, dass die Hand sich hier so ganz leicht bewegt, dass es also nicht ganz unbeweglich ist. Gutes Android-Tablet-Spiel, jetzt schon, oder? Could you have taken a different path, chosen a different call, found a different place in the world? You had the power to alter the very course of history. Now on the verge of death you struggle with doubt, seeking answers to the last and most crucial question of all. Your life, of all the paths in life, why did you walk this one? Did you choose your own fate, or was your life shaped by forces beyond your control? What determines a man's destiny? Tja, what determines a man's destiny? Was glaube ich? The man himself? The world around him? Ich bin nur ein Opfer. A higher power? And there is no destiny. Fangen wir doch mal hier an. Ich glaube daran, dass der Mann oder die Frau sein oder ihr Leben in seiner oder ihrer eigenen Hand hat. You can hear death's footsteps drawing near. Ja, so langsam weiß ich's, so langsam habe ich's kapiert. You square your shoulders and take a deep, full breath. You have found your final answer. What is destiny other than a long chain of your own actions and decisions? No matter what happened in your life, you always had a choice. You lived the life you deserved. Only you can answer for it. Ich hoffe, dass ich so dem Tod entgegenblicken werde, tatsächlich. But are you right about this? Is it all true? To learn the truth, you will have to return to the very beginning, remembering every step you took along the way. On these pages, the story of a man named BRANTE will live once more. Nun, Wolibert. Oder Wolle, ne, wie seine Freunde ihn genannt haben. Okay, Adolescence, Youth, Peacetime, The Revolt. Interessant, dass ich jetzt schon absehen kann, was vor mir liegt. Ja, dass ich also hier bis zum Krieg, bis in den Krieg gehe. Chapter 1, Childhood. Childhood, where life begins. First words, first unsteady steps. You are but a small child learning about the world in which you were born. To you, everything is so new, so baffling, so unforgiving. A long, trying life stretches before you, so many feats and falls, so many fateful choices to come. Das habe ich auch mittlerweile ein bisschen zu oft gehört, oder? Yet you are already sowing the seeds of your future self. You are learning to live and survive in this world, looking for a place within it to call your own, choosing your future destiny. Who would you grow up to be? Yes. Ja, darum geht's im Spiel. Ich hab's verstanden. Childhood, where life begins. First words, first answer steps, but you're a small child. Who would... Okay, ich verstehe. Das muss ich nicht nochmal lesen, sondern important life events that may happen to you in this chapter. The fencing lesson. Hier stehen jetzt Zahlen zum ersten Mal, oder? Determination. You dare to study fencing like your father, even though you have no right to it by birth. Okay. Beyond. Small child, you suffer your first death and rebirth? Da bin ich gespannt drauf. Play with ants. You experience an insight when your mother tells you about the ways of the world and the lots of its inhabitants. And the lots of its inhabitants, okay. You challenge the sacred order and attempt to seize a noble lot. Nobleman's sacrament. Tja, ich bin gespannt. Personality. Your personality qualities at this age. They determine which choices you may make. Spineless. Inattentive. Kann ich das verändern? Ich glaube nicht, ne? Also ich bin... Spineless, ich habe kein Rückgrat. Und ich bin nicht aufmerksam. Muss ich irgendwas anderes tippen als hier, als weiter? Nein. Willpower 0. Ja, Willpower ist nicht schlecht. Ready for action. Okay. Ich habe einen starken Willen, aber... Wie war das noch? Ich habe einen starken Willen, aber kein Rückgrat. Das ist eine komische Mischung, oder? Untouched by Death. Okay. New sections. Section. Destiny screen is now available. Chapter 1. Fencing Lessons. Ja gut, okay, das hatte ich ja gesehen. Komme ich jetzt zurück? Da. Personality screen is now available. Volibert BRANTE. 0 years. Lowborn. Lowborn! Ich las bereits, dass ich irgendwie ein Erfolgsmensch bin, oder? Okay. Der Mann mit dem großen Willen. House of BRANTE screen. Reputation 4. Modest position. Moderate means at peace. Heir Stefan BRANTE. Das ist mein Vater wahrscheinlich, oder? Oh, hier ist ein Fragezeichen. State of BRANTE House as a whole. Its social position is wealth and the relationships between family members. Determines the future of your immediate family in the BRANTE name. Okay, ich gehe mal davon aus, dass das Spiel mir erlauben wird, mehrere Leben zu durchleben vielleicht. Boah, das klingt eigentlich nicht so, oder? Das klingt eigentlich so, als wäre es auf eine Person und sein Leben bezogen. Aber vielleicht kann ich ein zweites Spiel machen und dann sehen, wie meine Kinder dann weiterleben. Also, I'm intrigued, würde ich sagen. Ja klar, wenn ich hier so ein Ding bekomme. Also Gregor BRANTE ist mein Großvater. Seine Kinder war Robert BRANTE. Und Lydia, the Tattooed Lady, ist meine Mutter. Die kann ich auch noch einzeln aufrufen. Okay, mal eben gucken, was ich bei meinem Grandfather weiß. The head of the BRANTE family and a nobleman of the mantle, senior judge at the Anisot Prefecture. He was the first person in the family to get an education and achieve a noble title. His dream is to see his family ennobled by the sword. Cruel and fierce defender of the ancient order, he is constantly preoccupied with arranging the future of his family line. Gut, so sollte ein Großvater auch sein. Mein Vater, a nobleman of the mantle and a judge at the Anisot Prefecture. Following in the footsteps of his father, Gregor, he earned a noble title and a position at the prefecture. Der Präfekt in der Präfektur. He works tirelessly in the judicial service for the sake of the family. Took your low-born mother Lydia as his second wife, thereby jeopardizing the family's noble future. Bin ich mal gespannt, wo Lydia herkommt. Ob sie wirklich tätowiert ist. Wie der alte Song, der Groucho Marx Song sagt. A humble commoner from the outskirts of Anisot. Neither her lowly origins nor the fact that your grandfather directly forbade the marriage stopped your father from taking her into his home. She now manages the household and raises Robert's children. Your mother is devoted to her faith and insists that her children observe their lots. Sie hätte eigentlich ins Kloster gehen können, hat dann aber mein Vater geheiratet. Und wer ist Amalia Elborne? Stefans birth mother. Oh, Stefan ist mein Bruder, mein Halbbruder. She died while giving birth to him. She was a noblewoman of the sword and the sister of Augustine Le Born, a powerful family friend. The match between her and your father was your grandfather's doing. Amalia is said to have been a striking woman with a forceful personality who was proud of her noble designs. Wie ist denn mein Bruder so drauf? The heir of BRANTE family and a noble by birth, the only child in the family to be raised in accordance with noble traditions. He's your grandfather's favorite and his hope for the future of the family. From a young age, he has been arrogant, aggressive and competitive, striving to be first in all things and demonstrate his superiority to the family. Ja, soll ich mir ein Beispiel dran nehmen, dann werden wir sehen, wer von uns beiden besser ist. Und wir könnten trotzdem Freunde sein, vielleicht. Und was ist mit Gloria? Oh, the illegitimate daughter of your mother. She has never met her real father. Her position in the family is precarious. Robert BRANTE has never acknowledged her as his own daughter. Your sister is a dreamer. She often has her head in the clouds and can act recklessly at times. Sehr schön, schöne Beobachtung, dass Leute, die den Kopf in den Wolken haben, oft rücksichtslos sind. Ob man es glaubt oder nicht. Auf eine sanfte Art, aber sie sind es. Ja, interessante Familie. Begin Chapter. Die Geburt. At first there was nothing. No time, no sensation. Nothing but darkness and void. But then a will breathed life into nothingness. Matter and spirit were set in motion. History began its march. It was your turn to enter this world. Your first memory, you are lying on your back, blinded by a bright white light. Bright white light. You are not alone. Above you tower the colossal figures of those who created you. You are a part of them, and they are a part of you. Between you and them is an inexplicable connection, a strong, unbreakable link. They will always watch over you, guard you, and protect you. It hurts to breathe. You let out the pain in the form of a desperate scream. Your creators extend their hands towards you. There are two of them. The one who made you, the one who made your form from their own selves and brought you into this world. They are united, yet as they lean closer you begin to see how different they are. You can already feel their differences within you, struggling against each other. The first figure is soft and empathic, wise and merciful. The love that emanates from it wraps you head to toe like an invisible blanket. The warmth from it is never ending. The second figure is strong and powerful, commanding and noble. It is harsh but fair, a beacon of guidance, a force of protection and merciless punishment for every misdeed. Yet there is also a third figure. It is like a shadow barely seen behind them, yet already pulsing with an unbreakable will to live. It is the very will to live that is now growing ever stronger within you. A soft open palm, a strong closed fist, a lingering distant shadow. You struggle to loosen the swaddling clothes wrapped around you and extend a tiny hand into the world. Ich fühle mein zynisches Ego besänftigt bereits. Viele Spiele, ich sag das immer, glaube ich, die sehr textorientiert sind, kranken meistens an einer gewissen Unfähigkeit der Autoren oder einer Geschwätzigkeit der Autoren, dass man merkt, dass sie ihr Handwerk wahrscheinlich in Chatgruppen gelernt haben und in irgendwelchen Foren, wo sie sich auseinandergesetzt haben. Oder vielleicht noch nicht mal auseinandergesetzt, sondern einfach nur gerne Worte gemacht haben. Und das zeigt sich dann. Und manche dialoglastigen Spiele scheinen mir so ein bisschen die so und ich so und er so und ich dann so und er wieder und er zu mir und ich. Okay. Haben wir hier natürlich nicht. Hier gibt es keine Dialoge. Hier gibt es Monologe. Und auch Monologe können nervig sein. Wenn jemand verliebt ist in den Klang von Worten, ohne ihre Bedeutung wirklich zu berücksichtigen. Und hier ist es anders. Ja? Einige Sachen werden ein paar Mal wiederholt. Wahrscheinlich, um einem die Idee zu geben von Wahl und der Weg, der vor einem liegt und so weiter. Aber das war ein starker Text, würde ich sagen, über Geburt. Einer von vielen möglichen starken Texten. Und vielleicht würde jemand direkt sagen, ja, ich würde es anders schreiben. Aber nein, das ist ein starker Text. Das Spiel ist auf jeden Fall von jemandem gemacht, der mit Sprache umgehen kann und der was zu sagen hat. Und das ist eine gute Mischung. Und besonders beeindruckt bin ich, da das Spiel ja jetzt momentan von einer Steam-Aktion stammt, in der es um osteuropäische Spiele geht. Das heißt, es scheint hier eine Übersetzung zu sein. Nehme ich an. Und wenn es eine Übersetzung ist, ist es eine gute Übersetzung. Wenn der Autor selber, es soll ja auch Leute in Osteuropa geben, die Englisch gerne sprechen und schreiben, wenn er das halt als Non-Native Speaker geschrieben hat, ja, sehr gut. Also gefällt mir gut schon vom Ganzen. So, reach out to the palm, reach out to the fist, smile at the shadow. Das ist eine schöne Mischung, oder? Wunderschön. Ja, die ausgestreckte Handfläche wäre natürlich schön. Da gucken wir es doch mal genauer an. Also wenn ich nach der ausgestreckten Handfläche greife, dann bekomme ich Wahrnehmung. Ja, dann werde ich sensibler wahrscheinlich für die Dinge. Wenn ich nach der Faust greife, bekomme ich Entschlossenheit und Stärke. Und der Schatten könnte meinen Willpower steigern. Der Schatten, Willpower. Wahrscheinlich der Wunsch, der Wille, Antworten zu bekommen, weil ich mich für das Unerkannte interessiere. Ich habe aber schon Will. Und Entschlossenheit ist für mich damit eng verbunden. Das heißt, ich werde tatsächlich die Hand vermeintlich meiner Mutter ergreifen. Your little palm awkwardly clasps the soft finger. You explore your mother's hands by touch. She smiles gently as her arms wrap around you and lift you up. She smells of home, that indescribable smell, that feeling of safety that is second to none. Her embrace is the warmest place in all the world, a place you want to stay for all eternity. Stimmt, das war auch, ne, ich war so völlig unaufmerksam und jetzt werde ich etwas aufmerksamer dadurch. Im Jahre 1118 bin ich geboren worden. Okay. Your life in the world begins. How will you live it? Wir werden sehen. Ein Jahr alt. As the days go by, you learn to tell your parents apart. You recognize father by his heavy breath and strong cold hands. He visits you rarely. Hello there, little Wollibet BRANTE. Mother's tender voice, however, follows you day and night. My, you're growing so quickly, my child. There are two more children in the family named Stefan and Gloria. Gloria sings songs to you. She often dresses you in tight clothing and gently holds your hands as you learn to take your first steps. Stefan likes to sweep you up and pinch you and toss you into the air. Oh, look, this is your brother and sister. Yeah, you're my little brother. We're gonna play together, but I'll always be in charge, because you were born a commoner. Be quiet, you. He doesn't understand yet. Come on, baby Wollibert, let's go play in the yard. Ein bisschen bereue ich es, ne, den albernen Namen Wollibert gegeben zu haben, aber er ist nicht zu albern, habe ich das Gefühl. Es könnte Leute gegeben haben, die so heißen. It is hot outside. You grip your brother's hand with one hand and your sister's with another as they help you walk down the giant stone steps. Then you sit on the ground and start exploring the sparse blades of grass with your fingers. It tickles. In the sky far above and away from you is a gigantic pillar, a perfectly straight stick made of light. It is so bright it hurts to look at. Why are you staring at the shining pillar? It's not going anywhere, you know. Hey, wanna play hide and seek? He's just a little baby now. He's gonna play? How's he gonna play? Well, then you hide him, and I'll try to find both of you. You have no idea what they are talking about, but you support them with happy cooing. This is strange, but so exciting. Stefan and Gloria glance at each other. Then your brother walks to a big tree, closes his eyes and starts shouting something. Gloria takes your hand and walks you through the yard. Your sister takes you behind some thick bushes by a tall wall. The light from that light stick on the horizon barely reaches here. You can't see home from this place. The ground is crawling with tiny black bugs. Gloria sits you down on the ground and puts a finger in her mouth for some reason, and then she's gone. You can no longer hear Stefan's voice. Gloria is nowhere to be seen. You feel colder. The bugs are no fun to play with. You've been sitting here for a long time, completely alone. Nobody checks on you. Did they forget about you? Did they abandon you? Ich bin ein Baby. Natürlich weine ich. You take a deep, deep breath and start bawling. This is the loudest you have ever cried. It is a cry of sheer terror, the cry of a boy waiting to be found, a boy whose brother and sister hurt his feelings when they left him all alone. You hear brisk steps, then the leaves and twigs rustling and parting. Mother leans over you. So that's where they took you. Your tears dry the moment you see her. You greet her with glee. There is no reason to be afraid anymore. Mother picks you up, puts you on her chest and pats you on the head. Your brother and sister stand behind her, clearly feeling guilty. Gloria's in tears, just like you. Stefan keeps staring at his feet. You hug Mother tightly. She's here now. Interessant, ne? Das Weinen eines Babys ein Zeichen von Willen ist. Ja, die Willenentwicklung. Das ist nicht dumm. Das ist nicht dumm. Man denkt immer, es ist Schwäche, aber die Schwäche eines Babys ist die Forderung. Also die Schwäche zu überwinden. Das ist die Forderung, die das Baby an die Welt stellt, würde ich sagen. Great Descent. Another memory. You are still a little child, but you can already talk and run around your own. Today is out of the ordinary. Father is busy around the house giving orders to the servants. Throughout the day, the kitchen has been abuzz with work, and there are solemn, gloomy preparations and candles being lit. Even your older brother Stefan is quiet today. Mother takes your hand and brings you to your sister Gloria. My son, today is the Great Descent. We honor the day when the twin gods descended to us. You must spend this day in reverence to the gods. You are too young to understand, so just do everything your sister says for now. Gloria takes you to the playroom. There are no toys there, no chairs. Even the carpet has been taken away. There is nothing there but a bare wooden floor. Today we are not allowed to go to any other rooms and will be eating nothing but gruel and stale bread. On the day of the Great Descent, everyone must be where they belong. It is quiet, unusually so. Muffled voices from beyond the door are all you can hear. You are sitting on the cold floor, confused, with no idea what to do. Then you hear your voice's sister. Das ist falsch, ne? Then you hear your sister's voice, a lonely sound in the empty room. It is a little song that Mother taught her. You hold your breath as you listen to it. When the twins came down to earth, they brought lots for every birth. Let us count them 1, 2, 3. The twins made them for you and me. Nobles rule and bravely fight. They protect us with their might. Priests work hard to understand, guide us by the twins' commands. Common people work and toil, always patient, never spoiled. Live your lot where you were born, to the day when you pass on. Know your lot and know the prayer, for the twins see everywhere. You are transfixed by the tune. Gloria notices your gaze and a smile creeps across her face. You like the rhyme, don't you, Wallybird? Do you know what it's all about? Look, there are 3 lots. They were brought to us by the twins when they descended to us from the shining pillar. Remember that pillar of light on the horizon? That's it. You can see the shining pillar anytime from anywhere in the world. If you follow your lot as you live, you will reach the peak of the pillar. And if you don't, you'll get eternal torment at the foot. The foot of the pillar, okay? You and I are lowborn. Mum is a commoner. Mum is a commoner too. So the lot for you and me is to suffer and be patient and work hard, understand? The priests and the nobles have other lots. The nobles fight and rule over everybody. The priests, well, I'm not really sure what they do, but I guess they talk to the twins and then teach everybody. Was würde ich drum geben, wenn dieses Spiel was Interessanteres macht, als einfach nur das ändern zu wollen, diese interessante Weltordnung, die da aufgebaut wird, die unsere natürlich sehr, sehr nahe ist, aber die halt ein bisschen anders mystifiziert wird. Wenn das Spiel sich jetzt trauen würde, nicht am Ende alles umzustürzen und für Equity, für Gleichheit und Gleichheit zu kämpfen, sondern das Thema zu erforschen, das Thema des Lots, ja, des Schicksals, das einem vorbestimmt ist, wäre ich hoch angetan. Gloria stares at you intently. Did you get it, silly? Did you get it, silly? Then she shakes her head and keeps singing the song over and over again. Her voice transfixes you, drawing you in. The room starts to glow like the sky. From this light emerge two figures you have known ever since the moment of your birth. One of them embraces your sister's shoulder, the other stands guard behind her back. You watch this happening before your very eyes, unable to turn away. Gloria is swaying to the song, unaware of what is happening. She sings the final verses once more. Know your lot and know the prayer. You feel compelled by this divine sight to express yourself somehow. You feel words condensing within you from the light. But what will these words be? Ich halte den Cursor jetzt mal nicht drüber, denn natürlich ist beides wahrscheinlich bringt meinen Charakter voran. Wenn ich das Lied so beende, wie ich es kenne, werde ich Integrität bekommen. Und wenn ich sie ändere, werde ich Kreativität bekommen, sowas in der Richtung. Personality, Perception und Determination. Sehr interessant. Also wenn ich sie wirklich nachsinge, dann finde ich mich halt ab mit meinem Lot, und wenn ich das nicht tue, dann habe ich Entschlossenheit. Ich glaube tatsächlich, dass wenn man Lieder lernt, und das tut man auch heute noch, oder? Im Kindergarten. Ich habe letztens mal mit jemandem gesprochen, dass ich im Kindergarten Lieder gelernt habe, die der andere nicht kannte, aber dass sie mir damals so vertraut waren und dass ich irgendwie als kleines Kind natürlich das Gefühl hatte, das sind wichtige Lieder für die Welt, die muss jeder kennen. Der Herbst, der Herbst, der Herbst ist da, er bringt uns Spaß, hi hussassa. Aber dann merkte ich irgendwann, dass Musik irgendwie anders funktioniert und dass Lieder sich ändern und dass es Hitparaden gibt und so weiter. Ich glaube auf jeden Fall, dass es gut ist, wenn Kinder Lieder lernen und sie erstmal mitsingen. Ich würde da nicht erwarten, dass sie dann ihr eigenes Ding machen. Und warum? Weil dieses Gefühl der Gemeinschaft erstmal wichtig ist, sodass man dann lernen kann, gegen welche Aspekte der Gemeinschaft man sich irgendwann entscheidet. Und nicht, dass man sich gegen Gemeinschaft generell sofort entscheidet, auch wenn es cool und romantisch klingt. Know your lot and know the prayer, for the twins see everywhere. Ja, zumal das auch so wirkt, oder? Als würden diese Twin Gods everywhere gucken. Wie würde eigentlich diese Szene wirken, wenn die Musik nicht so düster wäre, sondern wenn sie sehr sakral und positiv wäre? You sing the last line together with Gloria. Your sister looks up at you in surprise and gives you a nod. The shining pair standing behind her back turn to look at you. You can feel their gaze piercing you from top to bottom. When the moment passes, they meld into the dim light coming from the window. Gloria turns her head to look at where you were staring. Did you see something, Wallybird? You shake your head. Not anymore. Ich bin neugierig. Ich selbst halte Neugier für eine der wichtigsten Eigenschaften des Menschen. So. Ich bin jetzt 3, wenn ich das richtig sehe. Year 1121, Spring, the origin. You are starting to understand more and more of what the adults say. Your family is an unusual one. Father is a nobleman, but not by birth. His is a title earned through great service, but your mother is a low-born woman, a commoner. Because of this you were born a commoner, but father says you may yet come unto nobility. Ich werde mich würdig erweisen, Vater. You learn to read at an early age. Together with mother, you read and learn by heart the many poems about the divine twins, the twin gods who reside up the shining pillar. Mother calls these poems prayers. Again and again you try to discern the shapes of the gods in the strip of holy light that shines in the sky all day and night, but the light is too blinding to gaze upon. The greatest joy of all is when the stairs are no longer an insurmountable obstacle. Now you can climb and even jump from step to step. Father urges you to be more careful and avoid climbing too high. But even though you keep falling, you never stop being curious about the world around you. Your older brother Stefan now spends less and less time playing with Gloria and you. Playing with commoners is beneath a nobleman to be, he says. So Gloria calls him names and Stefan pulls her pigtails. One fine evening, Father gathers you all in the sitting room with an announcement. You will have another little brother or sister soon. Gloria asks him to bring home a little sister. Another brother would be too much. Stefan gets frustrated. There are too many little siblings getting in this way already. Soon you will be an older brother too, and it doesn't really matter who the youngest will be, boy or girl. You will love them the most. When Father comes back from his trip, he reads his adult books aloud for you. You find those stories of wars and generals and rebellions enchanting. And Father approves of your fascination. Study hard, and maybe one day you will become a noble of the mantle and earn your sword. But first, you need to grow up. Growing up. The concept is as terrifying as it is alluring. Relations. Ah, okay. Also die Beziehung zu meinen Geschwistern. Das heißt, er war zunächst, also das ist gesunken. Plus Indifference. Verstehe. Die Beziehung, wenn sie genau in der Mitte ist halt indifferent. Ja, wenn ich noch einen sinke, dann bin ich ihm völlig egal. Und wenn ich weiter sinke, dann hasst er mich. Willpower ist gestiegen. The lot of suffering. You keep staring at the carpet under your feet. You are both ashamed and proud, and it feels odd. A scratch on your hand stings a little. Stefan is standing next to you, sniffling from pain. Your brother was training in the yard with a wooden sword. You wanted to play with him, but he ended up getting angry and throwing the sword at you. The stick hit you in the shoulder. You picked it up and hit him with it. You see Mother's shoes walking to and fro on the carpet. You do not want to look up. You would rather not see her angry. She's not as gentle to you these days. Why did you hurt Stefan, Wolibert? You stammer out an explanation. He hit you first. You just hit him back. How dare he pester me like that? When I grow up, I'm gonna hit you with a real sword. Mother shushes you both and speaks to you again. Her voice is stern, and yet you can still feel her concern for you. Even if Stefan hits you, you cannot hit him back. You are my son, and I was born a commoner. Our lot is to suffer. But your brother was born from a noble father and a noble mother. His sacrament is coming soon, and then he'll rule over the likes of us. If you hurt a noble, you must be punished. That is your lot. And the sooner you learn it, the better off our entire family will be. Now Stefan looks at you in triumph. You look up at Mother in fear, not sure what to do now. Also ich glaube ja, dass das Weltbild funktionieren kann. Mit Nobility und Commoners. Ich glaube auch, dass es anders funktionieren kann. Also von daher werde ich nicht dafür kämpfen, dass es wiederkommt. Vielleicht bin ich auch der Meinung, dass es das immer geben wird. Dass es noble Menschen geben wird und einfache Leute, aber dass es sich halt nicht... es liegt nicht im Blut, es wird nicht weiter vererbt, sondern man erwirbt sich das. So wie es ja hier auch angedeutet wird. Ja? Der Vater von Wolibert ist zu einem... Oder der Großvater ist zu einem Adligen geworden durch seine Arbeit. Ja, und insofern muss es einfach eine Regel geben, die den noblen Kindern beibringt, sich ihrem Status entsprechend zu verhalten und eben keine kleinen Kinder zu schlagen. Insofern, dass Wolibert vielleicht bestraft wird, Wenn das Sinn ergeben soll, müsste man Stefan auf seine Art auch bestrafen. Vielleicht auf eine andere Art. Okay, mal sehen. Tja, accept your punishment. Deny your guilt. Und demand an explanation. Ja, also accept. Ich konzipiere mal Wolibert jetzt als integeren Menschen, aber einen, der doch Dinge hinterfragt. You start asking questions. Why were you born a commoner if your father is a noble? If you have your father's name, why can't you have his lot? And why can't you choose a lot for yourself if you don't like the one you have? Mother is stunned by all the questions you are peppering her with. Don't you dare ask me about that, Wolibert. I'll violate my lot if I start explaining it all to you. I'm a commoner, not a priest. You are flogged in front of your entire family. The pain burns on your skin again and again. Tears keep rolling down your cheeks. It feels like the punishment will never end. It hurts to walk when you are finally let go. You slowly climb the stairs and walk to your room. See a book on your bed, The Teachings of Isaicius, Volume 2. Wenn ich jetzt wenn ich die Story schreiben würde, dann käme jetzt eine Stelle, wo Stefan auch aufs Zimmer kommt und sich auch hinlegt und man merkt, dass ihm sein Hinterteil wehtut und man ahnt, dass er ebenfalls geschlagen wurde, aber halt nicht öffentlich. Wäre das was? Wäre das eine coole Szene? Your tears have dried now. You begin to read, slowly making your way through the difficult words. Every death of the body bringeth the soul ever closer to the twins' judgment. And when the body dieth, a true death, the soul soareth to the shining pillar. The twin gods do judge every soul, and their judgment is stern and unforgiving. He who followeth his lot in life from birth shall melt in bliss atop the peak of the shining pillar. Wenn das religiöse Weltbild hier ist und Religion nicht einfach nur etwas ist, was sich laut Story am Ende als Unsinn herausstellt. Wenn diese Religion möglicherweise wie in einer Fantasy-Welt eine Form von Magie ist, dann sollte ich mein Bestes tun, dem gerecht zu werden, oder? Und wir alle wachsen ja auf mit dem Gefühl und Gedanken, dass es eine höhere Ordnung gibt. Und nur weil ich mal den Arsch versohlt bekommen habe, heißt das ja nicht, dass ich mich automatisch dagegen entscheide, oder? Vielleicht merke ich ja, dass wenn ich das Lot trage, dass ich ja wirklich ein besserer Mensch bin. Von daher, die Szene jetzt wird mir jetzt vermitteln, rein persönlich, dass Wolibert den Beschluss fasst, ein besserer Mensch zu sein im Sinne der Gesellschaft, in der er lebt. Words confuse and elude you, instilling fear and awe. You will read this mysterious book again and again as you grow up. Ja, meine Neugier steigt. Sind Neugier und Gehorsam kompatibel? Passt das zueinander? Gloria's rhymes. Mother mostly stays in her chambers now. With each passing day she grows heavier and her features get rounder. It gets difficult for her to walk, but she still smiles all the time. One day she takes your hands and puts them on her big belly, and you feel a movement deep inside her. You will have another brother or sister soon. Gloria takes you on walks to the yard now. You explore the yard together under the evening light of the pillar, and she sings you songs and tells you amazing stories. Hey, Wolibert, do you want to hear a rhyme? I wrote it myself. There's even a bit about you, but don't tell anyone, okay? Writing poems and songs is only for nobles. If Mummy hears about it, I'll get flogged. Remember how you got flogged for hitting Stefan? Okay, das ist jetzt das Erste, was mir nicht so gefällt, ne? Denn ich glaube, in allen Zeiten, die es gab, ist Kreativität und Dichtung sowohl vom Volk als auch von den Noblen ausgegangen. Und ich hätte zumindest nicht davon gehört, dass im Mittelalter es ein Dichtungsverbot für einfache Leute gab oder ähnliches. Gefällt mir nicht so gut. Our judge is my second father. In the past I had another. Mother says the twins are great, says we should not fight our fate. Brother loves to jump around, please don't fall down on the ground. See, I wrote a little rhyme, please don't tell them it is mine. But today your sister is nowhere to be seen. She promised to take you to the old pond and show you the red frogs that live there, but then she vanished. The servants join you in your search. Even Mother leaves her chambers when she hears the commotion. Finally, you find Gloria in the far corner of the garden. She's holding a quill and sheets of paper covered in poetry. Mother becomes angry the moment she sees it. She looks through the poetry and her face grows dark with rage. Gloria is standing before her, wringing her hands and looking for an opportunity to run. But there seems to be no escape. What is this nonsense, Gloria? We talked about this. You were told to take care of your little brother. You are absolutely not allowed to entertain yourself with this writing. I can decide that for myself, Mom. No, you cannot. It has already been decided by the gods. And he's not a little brother anymore. He doesn't need a nanny. And I need some time alone to think for myself. I'm not hurting anyone. You are a commoner and a future wife. It's time you learned how to properly care for children. Had your disgraceful former father kept me in his house, you could have been born a noble. But that is not our fate, and you are absolutely forbidden from ever spoiling paper and wasting ink again. Oh Gott, alles was ich eben noch so positiv gesehen habe, jetzt plötzlich wird's in Gefahr gebracht durch Klischees. Mother grabs Gloria firmly by the hand and takes you both into the house. The scribbled sheets fly into the fireplace. Gloria sobs violently. You are a bystander to the scene, unsure of how to act. Okay, complain about my sister ist ausgegraut. Warum? Wegen meiner anderen Entscheidungen, nehme ich an? Ich hätte auch kein Interesse, es zu wählen. Ich wundere mich nur, warum es ausgegraut ist. Offer to write rhymes with her. Comfort your sister oder leave the room. Leave the room is willpower. Okay, willpower ist offenbar, wenn man fordert und Dinge in Ruhe lässt. Okay. Hier sinkt meine Willpower. Okay. Wenn ich sie tröste? Oder ist das etwa meine Einstellung, die Frauen oft nicht gefällt? Ja, dass ich nicht gut bin zu trösten, weil ich versuche, Lösungen zu finden. Das heißt, ich halte Trösten immer für die schlechtere Wahl. Wenn ich natürlich keine Wahl habe, dann ist Trösten natürlich das Bessere, aber vielleicht fehlt mir dann die Übung. Oh Gott, gerade reflektiere ich über mein Leben. Und offer to write rhymes with her. Das wäre ja wohl eine Lösung, die wir da finden können. Aber ich bin auch ein Commoner. Ich darf das auch nicht. Egal, ich biete es ihr an. Mother leaves. The last of your sister's poetry burns away in the fireplace. Sie wird es ja noch im Kopf haben. You hug your sister and whisper to her. Let's go to the library, you say. The two of you can hide under the table and write something together. Gloria shakes her head violently. Mother said no, and there is no way she would ever defy her. You reassure her that it will be your secret. You pull Gloria to the library. She fights you, but you refuse to relent. You carefully peek inside. Your sister takes a small book from one of the shelves and you read it together under the table. It's a book of poetry about eternal love. Gloria clearly adores it. You decide to write a poem of your own. She recites a line in an ecstatic voice, and you repeat it after her and offer a rhyme of your own. She nods happily. You do this until the day ends. You have written a poem of your own and learned it by heart. Not a single line of it has been committed to paper, which means that you stay true to your mother's rule. Das ist Fahrenheit 451. Ne? Wir schaffen Lyrik oder Literatur generell in unserem Kopf und schreiben sie gar nicht auf. Da kann man sie uns nicht wegnehmen. Year 1122. Winter. The coming sacrament. Mother is in her armchair, knitting woolen jackets, pants and socks for the little one. The baby will need to be kept warm, she says. Father spends less time at home now. Mother says he's very busy with his important job. He is a judge, after all. One day you decide to ask Mother about Stefan and Gloria. How come they are brother and sister to you, but not siblings to each other? Well, my dear, I didn't give birth to Stefan, you see. He's the son of another mother, and Gloria is the daughter of another father. Come now, don't knit your brow like that. You'll understand when you're older. How is that even possible? You're all family, aren't you? Würde er so denken? Several days later, Mother calls Stefan and Gloria to the sitting room. You sneak in after them. At first, Mother gets angry and asks you to leave, but then she relents. You are told to sit still, be quiet, and remember every word you hear. When you enter the temple, bow to the twins. First to the elder on the right, and then to the younger on the left. Stefan, you're a noble man to be, so walk along the side paved with marble where the benches are. Gloria, you walk along the sharp side. When you are there, you must get down on your knees, each on your own side. Stefan, kiss the sword. Gloria, my daughter, they will strike you with a lash. Don't be afraid of it. Resign yourself to the suffering it brings. 'Tis the blessing of your lot. Gloria doesn't like the idea of the lash. I can understand that. There's a tense feeling in your chest as well. You were told to remember this. Will the lash strike you too one day? On the next day, they take your brother and sister to the temple. You run towards them when they finally come back. The back of Gloria's dress is soaked with blood. She's hunched a bit, sobbing quietly. Stefan is putting on airs, acting prouder than ever. Nothing else looks different about them. It's like everything's the same, and yet nothing is the same anymore. Each of them has accepted their lot. Das wird Stefan natürlich leicht fallen. So, jetzt bin ich ihm völlig egal. Der Hass kann starten. Und die Einigkeit, zerbricht langsam. Hätte ich das anders spielen können? Hätte mir das Spiel erlaubt, mich völlig eingebettet in das Ganze zu zeigen. Könnte es jetzt sein, dass Stefan mich liebt? Ich glaube nicht. Dafür war keine Chance da, oder? Dass Stefan mich wie ein Bruder liebt oder noch was Besseres. Also Konformismus wäre was ich probieren würde, wenn ich das Spiel nochmal spielte. Brother and Sister Sacrament. Your siblings Stefan and Gloria took their first sacrament at the temple. You eye the little bundle in your father's arms with curiosity. Behind the many layers of swaddling clothes is your newborn baby brother. Mother is glowing and smiling with joy. Stefan and Gloria are also here, all excited. So, mehr Commoners im Haus. You promise yourself you're going to be the best big brother in the world. Das klingt sehr modern. You'll never hit him, oh no. The two of you will play together and tease Stefan together and help Mother together and go on so many adventures together. It feels so strange to be an older brother. Just the other day you were the youngest in the family, but everything's different now. Your parents name your little brother Nathan. And warum habe ich diesen blöden Volleybert-Namen? Ne? Alle haben normale Namen. And Mother spends day and night by his side. And Nathan cries all the time, day and night. Mother barely gets any sleep. She's so worn out, she starts forgetting things. Like today, for instance, she forgot her knitting in the armchair in the sitting room. You'd better bring it back to her as soon as possible. You run to Mother's bedroom. You miss her smile so much. You walk in without saying hello and give her the knitting, but instead of gratitude, you get an ice-cold, exhausted stare. Nathan is also there, screaming all the time. Go away, Wallibert, you're bothering me. She spits these words out through her teeth. You look at the bawling newborn. She can't even get a minute of respite. Enough already. When are you going to stop? I just want some peace and quiet. Mother leaps across the room and starts shaking Nathan with malice in her eyes. His cries get even louder. She looks so tired from these never-ending screams. She seems to be within an inch of smashing him against the wall. Somebody has to do something. You are scared of your mother right now, but you fear for Nathan's life much more. Toxic maternity? Call for help, redirect her anger to yourself, oder snatch Nathan from mother. Guck mal, und Hug Mother kann ich nicht machen. Warum? Könnte ich da hinkommen? Weil das wäre so naheliegend. Ich hätte sie jetzt gerne in den Arm genommen. Aber es ist ausgegraut. Da ich von meinem Vater wenig mitbekomme, rufe ich den. You run away to Father's study and stammer out a plea for help. Father gets up immediately and runs back with you. He barges into Mother's chambers and embraces her and baby Nathan with all his might and love. She screams at him at first, crying how she's tired of everyone. She whispers something in response, then takes Nathan from her and says she should lie down. He whispers so. Okay. Lie down and rest. Then suddenly Nathan stops crying. Mother looks around and sees you standing next to Father. My son, please forgive me. I am sorry you had to see this. Thank you for going to your father for help. The twins know I didn't want to hurt anyone. Mother's face is covered in tears. Everything will be all right now. Father tells you, you can go. You leave in quiet joy as Mother calms down and Nathan falls asleep. Father won't let anything bad happen. Das ist ja gut. Habe ich nicht jetzt auch zu Unity beigetragen, so ein bisschen? Familie mehr zusammengebracht? Würde ich mir wünschen. Your younger brother Nathan is born. Fünf Jahre alt bin ich. Was habe ich mit 5 Jahren alles so drauf gehabt? Welche Erfahrungen habe ich gemacht? Sesamstraße. Sesamstraße. Obwohl, man war schon im Kindergarten mit 5, ne? Oder? Dann hätte ich eine ganze Menge zu erzählen, wenn es so ist. You wake up to Father's touch on your shoulder. He is finally back home after a long trip. Wallybird, today is your special day. The day when you begin your studies. Now, teachers will be coming to our home to teach you, and you must do everything they say. Be diligent in your studies, and you will grow closer to the nobleman's lot. And since you must remember this day, a present is in order. Lydia, get our little schoolboy dressed. I'm taking him to the market district. Stefan wants to come with you too, but Father shushes him sternly. This is your day. Your elder brother is hurt to hear this, but stays quiet. An open carriage takes the two of you through the dusty, noisy city streets, a pleasant wind tussling your hair. Your city is called Anisot. That you already know. It is one of the largest cities in the entire empire. There is a big shadow on the street. It comes from the white foliage of an enormous tree that spreads its branches all above the city. My son, did you know that the silver tree grew from the blood of our God's own disciples? It has been growing here for hundreds of years, right in our city. It cannot be damaged or burned. Not even the clergy know why. The carriage comes to a halt by a small shop next to a city square. You run there and freeze by the stalls in excitement. The shop is packed with dolls and figurines and toys. You've never seen so many at once before. Hätte man das Bild nicht irgendwie anders machen sollen? Das sieht nämlich nicht wie ein Spielzeugladen aus hier. Have you chosen your present yet? Father asks. You have. You want the Holy Order set, which includes several figurines of the Empire's greatest warriors of all time. You rattle off everything you know about the Holy Order. They were the ones who aided the Emperor's own forces in seizing the province of Magra and storming our city. That's how we joined the Empire. Father nods in approval. Very well. War isn't your lot for now, but maybe these toy soldiers will teach you to think like a general. We will lead them into battle and study military strategy. Go ahead, take your present. Having said this, Father turns away to examine the books. You run to the box of toy soldiers, delirious with excitement. But there's a fancy-dressed boy in your way. He is about to take your warriors for himself. Moment. Ich bin noch nicht zu Hause, ne? There is a fancy-dressed boy in your way. He's about to take your warriors for himself. He elbows you aside and reaches for the box. Anger overcomes you and you push him from behind. Your opponent falls to the floor. Lass mich raten, das ist wieder Noble Dude. The rich boy screams so loudly everybody in the shop hears it. He hit me! He hit me! Tall tower of a man looms over you. This is the boy's father. But then you feel your own father's hand on your shoulder. What happened? You press against Father, your mind more at ease now. He will protect you. Yes, you shoved the boy to the floor in front of everyone, but he tried to take your present for himself. Father turns you around to face him when he hears these words. Is this true, Wallibird? Did you strike the son of a nobleman? Tell him the truth. You repaid the impudent boy in kind. You tell Father that you repaid the impudent boy in kind. Step between the adult and say that it was all your fault. Also mit dem Tell him the truth, ne, dann zeige ich, dass ich mich nicht dem Zeitgeist, dem Weltbild anpasse. Und ich hatte ja gesagt, dass ich ihn jetzt so konzipiere, dass er sich dem Weltbild anpasst. Also, ich sehe ein, dass ich gegen die Gesetze gehandelt habe, mit dem, was ich getan habe. Ich hätte wissen sollen, dass er nobel ist. Oder? You recall mother's words. If you hurt a noble, you must be punished. There's no use trying to lie to escape it. Say it was all your fault. You pushed the other boy to the floor because you wanted to get your present before him. Father nods to you, relieved to hear it, and the enraged nobleman grabs you by the hand and drags you out on the street. The law is the law, and your punishment is due. Lead you and the nobleman's son out of the shop. You are told to bow to him and show humility. Bad feeling sends a shiver down your spine. With a satisfied grin on his face, the boy swings his arm and slaps you on the cheek. He strikes you again and again. Und währenddessen kauft irgendjemand anders die Soldaten, nehme ich an. Father stays quiet all the while, but as you ride home after the punishment is over, he shows you a rectangular package. I am proud to see you living by your lot. A common birth leads to a life of humility, and you told the truth and accepted your punishment like a man. This present is yours, my son. Inside a little box with the tin soldiers of the Holy Order inside. There, your reward for humility. Hat er sie jetzt heimlich gekauft oder gab es einfach noch eine Packung? Ja. Was ich hier hätte lernen sollen, ist, dass Limited Editions keine gute Idee sind. Dass Massenproduktion der Weg zur Völkerverständigung ist. Mein Vater mag mich. Das ist gut. Dafür ist mein Wille etwas gebrochen. Aber vielleicht ist das gut. Ja, vielleicht ist Wille... Ich hatte ja Wille und kein Rückgrat. Und vielleicht bekomme ich jetzt ein Rückgrat und mein Wille wird dafür weniger. Ich bin damit zufrieden. 6 Jahre. The End Farm. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Okay, Perception. Perception. Achso, die Endfarm kommt jetzt. Ich dachte schon. Na gut, ich bin gespannt. Your younger brother Nathan is growing. Mother spends more time with the rest of the family now. You help her and play with your brother and take care of him when she asks. You often go to Mother's room to sit at the foot of her bed after Nathan falls asleep. She reads you the sacred books and asks you about the things you learned that day. During these moments you see the world through her eyes as well. One day the door of your room opens and she brings in a large box covered with a piece of cloth. It is rare for you to see her so overjoyed. She sets the box on the floor and removes the cloth. The box under the cloth is made of glass and has a wooden base. Inside you see a layer of earth shaped into carefully crafted passages, and these passages are full of hard-working ants. Wallybird, this is my gift to you, an ant farm. It's a little world in a small box. You can watch them through the glass. Look, this is the queen ant. She is the reason all these little ants were born. Das ist natürlich schön, ne? Wenn den Commoners das erlaubt wird, alles vielleicht zu betrachten in der Natur, was einer natürlichen Ordnung von Nobility folgt. You sit by the box together. You hold your breath as you watch the ant colony at work. There turns out to be a method to the ants' chaotic movements. Every single one of them has a task to perform. Some of them have larger mandibles. They are the protectors of the colony. They can draw blood from your finger. Others work all around the colony, repairing the walls and clearing any debris from the passages. There are also workers who collect food you put in a special tray, leaves, bits of meat, maggots, and bring it to the rest of the colony. You take a worker ant and put it right next to the food. However, the insect has no interest in it. It starts circling around the tray aimlessly. Take a worker ant and put it right next to the food. Okay, mother takes the stray ant and puts it back where it belongs. Why did you do that, my son? The ants cannot do what they weren't born to do. Each of them was born for their own job. You shake your head slowly. If only the ants could do whatever you wanted them to. This is your gift now, so they belong to you. Or maybe mother's presence is the reason they won't obey you. Okay, ich bin ein bisschen verwirrt. Denn ich hatte jetzt auch durch meine letzten Entscheidungen ja gezeigt, dass ich versuche, mein Ego zu überwinden, die Ordnung der Welt zu verstehen und meinen Platz in dieser Ordnung anzunehmen. Wenn mir jetzt gesagt wird, dass den Ameisen genau dasselbe passiert, ja, warum wird mir jetzt aufgedrängt, dass ich Gott der Ameisen sein will? Gefällt mir nicht. Na gut, dann spiele ich weiter mit ihr. Vielleicht überwinde ich ja meinen Gotteswunsch. Mother's look is full of warmth and love. Nathan, Gloria and Father are away right now. For the first time in a long while, it is just the two of you. And Mother takes great joy in watching over the ant farm. She shares her knowledge of the world with you. The things she tells you are true. You move closer to her and suggest going outside and finding some bugs for the ants. She agrees to this happily and holds your hand as you leave the house. Soon you are busy catching bugs and sharing your thoughts on how the ants will feed the colony with them. From time to time you laugh together, making up stories about errant flies and caterpillars overthrowing the ant kingdom. You and Mother hold hands as you return to your room. She can't help but smile. It is a faint smile, a child's smile, a smile full of sunlight. You are so happy to have seen the world through her eyes today. Okay, ich komme mit meinem Vater gut klar, ich komme mit meiner Mutter gut klar. Ich bringe Freude und Frieden in die Familie. Das ist gut, oder? Oder zwingt mich das Spiel zu sehen, dass es nicht gut ist, in einer Welt voller Ungerechtigkeit die Leute im Frieden leben zu lassen? Bin gespannt. You and your mother hold hands as you return to your room. She can't help but... Achso. Okay. Year 1124, summer, family dinner. Today Father ordered the dinner table to be brought out into the yard. For the first time in months he's home, outside of the confines of his always locked study. He spent the entire day playing with Nathan and you, discussing various matters with Stefan, now an adolescent, and walking in the garden. And now a dinner under the open sky. Ich würde gerne mal meinen Großvater kennenlernen, fällt mir gerade auf. Your entire family gathers together with Father at the head of the table, smiling. He asks each of you about your studies. Nathan climbs up on his knee and recites a counting rhyme in a funny sing-song voice. Stefan mentions that his fencing teacher praised his accomplishments. He rises from the table together with father to show his skill in a practice duel. Next comes Gloria's turn. She stands on a chair and recites a lengthy prayer by heart. Mother showers your sister with praise. Father chuckles quietly, hiding a smile in his mustache. When your turn comes, you recite all the ranks in the Legion, from common soldier to high commander. Stefan listens to you with a skeptical look on his face. Night slowly falls, but the servants ensure the yard is well illuminated. You don't feel cold in the dusk tonight. It feels so good, so important. All of you are finally together, sitting at the same table. No fights, just smiles. No arguing, just pleasant small talk. Ja, das ist wirklich eine schöne Vorstellung, oder? In einer Familie, in einer großen Familie, irgendwie regelmäßig zusammenzukommen und gefragt zu werden, was man Neues gelernt hat, was man beigetragen hat. Nicht einfach nur Noten vorzuzeigen, sondern irgendwas Kreatives zu machen. Das könnte man vielleicht Weihnachten so als Feier machen, oder? Das ist eine schöne Vorstellung. Then a servant approaches father with a letter in his hand. He reads it in the dim light, and each line washes the smile off father's face until only a stone-cold mask remains. Mother looks at father with an unspoken question in her eyes. Gregor BRANTE is coming back to Anisot. He is the head of our family. My father. Ich habe ihm noch gesagt, dass ich den gern mal sehen würde. Ich freue mich darauf, meinen alten Opa kennenzulernen. Your grandfather, Gregor BRANTE, returned to the family home on the capital. Ja, freue ich mich drauf. The intrusion. Ever since the news of grandfather's impending arrival, there has not been a single day when the house has not been cleaned or decorated. Your parents anxiously make sure everything is in order. They tell you to wash your face and hands after walks and scold you for leaving books on the floor. Sollte man generell. They tell Gloria she will be flogged if she is ever seen hiding in the attic. They make Stefan stay in his room. Even baby Nathan gets in trouble. Everyone is on edge. Then one day grandfather arrives. It is a grim day, so hot your neck is sticky with sweat. Father, mother, Stefan, Gloria, you and Nathan. The entire BRANTE family stands on the porch in front of the house. The house servants lined up behind you. Ich habe gar keinen Bezug zu den Servants, oder? Ich meine, das sind ja auch Commoners. Von daher hätte ich gedacht, dass ich vielleicht irgend so ein Diener oder so ein Zimmermädchen habe, die irgendwie mit mir heimlich anbandelt. The carriage arrives and out steps a tall, gaunt man with a heavy walking stick and a heavier gaze. You cringe instinctively. Good health to you, father. Children, greet your grandfather, as you have been taught. Still trying to look like a real nobleman, are you? You can't fool me, Robert. I was the first of the BRANTE family to be a noble by the mantle, and I'm the only one who remembers how to bear this burden properly. I live honorably by my lot. Your marriage to that low-born wench cut us off from ever becoming nobles of the sword. My progeny could have been born bearing noble blood. Father, I beg you, this is not the place. Grandfather eyes him with scorn, walks into the house, the entire family following close behind him. Das ist ein Zeichen von einem, also nicht einem bösen Menschen, aber einem schwachen Charakter. Sei es von sich aus oder von Seiten des Autors. Wäre das Erste, was er ist, ne, darüber zu meckern, was da so los ist. In schlechten Komödien sieht man das, ne, wenn die Schwiegermutter vorbeikommt und direkt sagt, oh, wie sie aussieht. I've been away far too long. The entire house is a mess. Oh Gott, ich sag's gerade noch, ne? This is an insult. How can you live in such a pigsty, Robert? The servants have grown far too lazy, all thanks to your commoner of a wife. I warned you, did I not? And yet, you did as you saw fit. And the children, what do they know of tradition or honor? They're being raised in a virtuous family, father. And now you're speaking like a lowborn who's content to live in humility. Twins willing. Now that I am here, this will not happen again. I am taking your oldest son to the capital. I see you cannot provide Stefan with a proper education, so I will correct your mistake. Ja, das ist doch besser so, oder? Für uns alle. Your brother's fate has just been decided. Nay, has been decided just like that. Father does not object. He orders the servants to prepare Stefan for the journey. Stefan freezes in place, glancing at grandfather and father again and again. The latter puts a hand on his shoulder reassuringly. Grandfather's lips are a tight line, white with contempt. The house is examined room after room. Everything grandfather sees is showered with scorn. He scoffs at the crease on a blanket in Nathan's crib in mother's bedroom. He mocks Gloria's knitting in her room. The door to your room is next. Kann sein, dass der Bösewicht ist. What is this? Robert? Tin soldiers in your younger son's room? He was born a commoner. I won't have him daydreaming of battle. Grandfather seizes the box containing the tin warriors of the Holy Order. Your father stays silent. Anger and fear boil within you. This is your big present from the first day of your studies. It means so much to you. But what if he's right? What if you need to prove your right to command the toy soldiers first? Grandfather shakes his head in disapproval and shoves the toy box into the roaring fireplace. If you wait too long, they will melt in the flames. Da ich Großvater noch nicht kenne, ja, habe ich wenig Respekt vor ihm, von Natur aus. Ich akzeptiere ihn als Nobleman, möglicherweise. Aber das tue ich, oder? Ich schlage ihn. Ich habe zwar gelernt, dass man Nobleman nicht schlägt, aber das gilt ja wohl nicht für die nähere Familie. Ach doch, für meinen Bruder. Für meinen Bruder galt das ja schon. Mal gucken, was passiert. Overwhelmed by helpless rage, you run to grandfather and kick him in the leg with all the strength you can muster. Yet, he is immovable. The next thing you see is him leaning, towering over you menacingly, his heavy walking stick in hand. Kampf bis zum Tod. Low-born scum, how dare you raise a hand to me? Ja, die konnte ich erwarten, dass er sich beeindruckt zeigt durch meinen Kampfgeist. The blow hits home. The handle of the walking stick is as heavy as a rock. You are dazed, robbed of both hearing and sight. Down comes another blow. A sharp pain splits your head. Then darkness. Sharp pain. Your hand twitches against your will, then again and again, like it is trying to catch a flying butterfly, or a bug to feed to the ants. And then you fall into the primordial void. The void takes away a part of you, one of the lives you were given to live. It will never return. There is pain and desperation, and a sense of loss. Nothing can be done now. Holy moly! You fall into a pain that embraces you like a soft feather bed. You feel light, free. There are no restraints, just a warm glow that envelops you in its secure embrace. The waves carry you. Their touch is soft. They delicately enshroud what was once your body. It is a feeling unlike anything you have ever experienced before. Something absolute and complete. You touch something greater. The reason behind everything. The reason for your very existence. You were sculpted from this light. It was the first thing you ever felt, a boundless and sincere unity of the diverse. Your beginning was a spark that cast this light in all directions. And now you are here again, one with the beginning of everything. The light gleaming from you resembles the light of shining pillar. You still see it in the north, as always. The waves of light carry you to two figures. The elder is nearest. He is ready to accept you. He is quiet, wise, kind, and pure. The younger waits further back. You do not know what he is yet. The waves pause at the elder's feet. He leans over you and plants a feather-light kiss on your forehead. The kiss spreads all over you. You are filled with an unparalleled delight and bliss. You exist. You are unique. There is no one else like you. They know this, and they love you. You will never be alone. You are a part of them, a part of your family, a part of this universe. The twin gods will never leave you. They watch over you constantly. The elder softly touches you as you lie spread out amongst the waves, sending you further down the torrent of light. You float on to the top of the silver tree, spreading crown. The closer you get to the silver tree, the heavier you become. The waves draw you down along its trunk, but you do not wish to part with the warmth and the softness, with the love. You turn around. The elder is still watching you. He nods. All is as it should be. Go. Your time has not come yet. You must return to the world now. As you tumble down toward your body, you comprehend the true meaning of your lesser death and the divine love that has been revealed to you. Love exists not only in the hereafter. It is present in the entire design of the twins that is the origin of all life in this world. What is the manifestation of this love in your mortal life? Empire, lot, family, cause, yourself, remain silent. Okay, was ich gelernt habe aus diesem Leben ist, dass die Familie das ist, was zählt. Und ich glaube, bei dem Essen, bevor der Großvater kam, haben wir gemerkt, dass wir alle irgendwo triumphiert haben. Vielleicht Gloria nicht. Aber ich weiß nicht, wie sie damit umgegangen ist, mit dem Verbot des Schreibens. Aber ich glaube, dass der Großvater, dass er das zerstört hat. Also buchstäblich, indem er mich getötet hat. Aber das, was ich gelernt habe, ist, dass man Lot und Empire und diese ganzen Dinge wohl diskutieren kann. Aber die Familie hat funktioniert. Und die Familie zu zerstören als Eindringling und alles schlecht zu machen, was darin ist, war die Tragödie am Ende. Ich wähle die Familie. A sudden comprehension of the love with which the entire world is imbued illuminates your mind, but then it fades away and vanishes. You regain the sensation of your flesh. It is heavy and unwieldy. It lacks that lightness, that light. It is a burden. It is smothering you. You gasp for air. Your chest expands painfully. You feel as though your lungs are about to burst. The stagnant odor of the crypt fills them, revolting but so real. You are back. Ich bin überrascht. Ich dachte, das eine Leben wäre vorbei. Ich würde ein neues Leben beginnen. Eine neue Geburt. Stattdessen werde ich ein Zombie. The intrusion. Then you smell a sickly moist smell. You feel dampness all around you. You come back to your senses in the gloom of the family crypt, lying flat on a stone slab. Your parents are on their way to the crypt right now. You hear their muffled voices. They are arguing. And against all rules, Mother will not agree with Father. Why would Sir Gregor do this? He just took one of our child's lives. Children's lives, ne? Ja, richtig. Bevor das hier weitergeht, das war genau das, was ich eigentlich gedacht habe. Warum die Geschichte, so wie sie endete, gut war. Dass meine Ermordung irgendwas zurechtrütteln wird in dieser Welt. Und sei es nur in der kleinen Welt meiner Familie. Ja. Lydia, my father is our family's head, and the boy raised a hand to him. There was nothing we could do, and father did admit that he was too hard on him. Immerhin. Please do not anger Sir Gregor. You need to accept this. It will never happen to any of our children ever again. The voices grow quiet as they lean over you. You lean on your elbows to try and get up from the stone. Mother gingerly wraps her cloak over your naked body as you shiver from the cold. My son, your first death came far too soon. I know it may be difficult to realize what happened. But know this, the twin gods are ever merciful. You are a child, and your time to leave for the hereafter has not yet come. You will be returned here by the gods twice more. But do not tempt fate again. and never ever defy those who can easily take your life. Okay, das lässt es jetzt natürlich in einem etwas anderen Licht erscheinen. Wallibird, you have angered your grandfather greatly. Do not stand in Sir Gregor's way ever again, and he will never hurt you again. For now, just stay away from him. Father stays a step away from you, not saying a word. When mother finishes talking, he picks you up and carries you outside. Together your parents take you from the family crypt. On your way out of the crypt, you take a moment to touch your head. It is perfectly fine. There is no sign of the blow. Back home, grandfather is still walking through the house, examining the rooms. You can see that Stefan and Gloria are disturbed by what just happened. Nathan starts crying when he sees you. The playroom still reeks of burnt paint. There's something new about you now. A pitch black stripe on your left arm. It looks like a strange bit of dirt at first, but it will not wash off. It will be like that forever, Mother explains. That is all she will say of it. Okay, meine Beziehung zu meinem Großvater ist durch meine Ermordung durch ihn etwas in Mitleidenschaft gezogen. So, I grew a spine, ja, auch wenn es mir beinahe zerhauen wurde. Perception ist super und ja, einen Tod bin ich gestorben. Habe ich am Anfang gar nicht drauf geachtet, ne? Habe ich am Anfang gar nicht drauf geachtet, dass da Tod stand da unten. There's something new about you. Achso, das habe ich jedes Mal. Jedes Mal. Beyond. Suffer your first death. Small child, you suffer your first death and rebirth. Es wurde mir ja sogar angekündigt. Ich habe es nur wieder vergessen und was für eine Überraschung. Aber was ist mit meinen Zinnsoldaten? Kriege ich die wieder? Werden die auch wieder geboren? Die könnten neu gegossen werden. Year 1124. Fall. The master of the house. Soon grandfather leaves. Your elder brother Stefan goes with him. Hey! Das sieht gut aus. From that day on, father's hired teachers tend to you alone. They bore you with monotonous lectures on writing, counting, and the way of life of the blessed Archenian Empire. You often distract yourself from their instruction by playing with your younger brother Nathan. Your home grows quiet without your elder brother. Too quiet. Weeks later, your family receives a letter from Stefan. Grandfather has sent him to a boarding school for nobles, and he is now studying hard in preparation for his service as a nobleman. The rules here are way too strict. You can't even sneeze without the teacher's permission. But I've been studying with my peers. We are learning how to live as nobles in a society of nobles. We are also learning the art of swordplay. That's my favorite part. With Stefan now at the boarding school, grandfather arrives once more, this time to live in your home. The only good thing is that he often has urgent business in Eterna, the capital of the Empire. Eterna? War das nicht He-Man oder so? And has to travel there. One day you asked mother where he lived before. In Eterna, she says, but now his place is here. Each time grandfather returns, he gives the servants new orders. Your home is now always busy with repairs. The servants are redecorating grandfather's chambers, including his library and sitting room. Sometimes father tries to gently talk him out of this. Why subject the house to constant reconstruction? Grandfather's answer is always the same. This home is mine, and I will live here as befits a man of the nobility. Was dieser Gesellschaft fehlt übrigens, ne, mit dem ganzen Nobility und so weiter, ist eine gewisse Eigenverantwortung für das, was man tut. Also dass der Großvater jetzt irgendwie kommt und Hilfe braucht bei seinem Sohn, den er eigentlich nicht für würdig erachtet, ist etwas merkwürdig, oder? Ich dachte, er würde ein Palast bauen für sich oder zumindest ein kleines Haus, in dem er niemanden duldet und in dem er allein und einsam stirbt. All illustrious guest. Some days grandfather stays home, and on those days you try your best to stay out of his sight. There's no way you can avoid family breakfast. The food is there, but you cannot bring yourself to eat it. Mother's eyes are red and swollen. She has been crying all night again. Grandfather sits at the head of the table, where nobody used to sit before. Rabbit, 'tis time. It is high time your youngest sons underwent their sacraments. Sir Brante, please, let them live free of the lot for a while longer. They are but...
Shut your mouth! Robert, that wife of yours is impertinent enough to interrupt me. If this ever happens again, she'll be eating her gruel with the servants in the kitchen where she belongs. It is time you considered a real marriage, Robert, one to a woman of the proper station.
Gloria drops her fork. Grandfather shoots her a scathing look. A tear rolls down Mother's cheek. Father does not look away from the plate, his hands clenched into fists.
Baroness Elodar is such a woman. She is a comely widow and a fine match. She is suing for her inheritance right now and could use proper support and a husband. You can keep your low-born Lydia around if you like. Servant, kept woman, lover, I don't care.
I will not do that, Father.
I am the head of this family, and the family's standing took a severe blow after you married that commoner. It is unthinkable. How could you give up the memory of beautiful Amalia Alborne for this lowly woman and that bastard child of hers? But now you have a chance to set things right. Don't disappoint me.
Father nods curtly, trying not to look in Mother's direction. Father, I wish to see Stefan.
If I find your conduct in the Baroness's presence satisfactory enough, then you may see him. She is coming for a visit tomorrow. Be prepared.
Grandfather wipes his mouth with his napkin, throws it onto his plate and leaves. Mother's lips move silently. Nobody says a word. Then Father stands up and orders you and the other children back to your rooms. Needs to speak to your mother in private. Später. Father comes to your room before bedtime. He sits on the edge of the bed and adjusts the crease on the woolen blanket. He distanced himself from you after Stefan's departure, so you are not used to such attention from him. In the candlelight you can see his face in the dark. There is a sour expression on it. My son, Baroness Emma Elodar will be visiting us tomorrow. Please be polite and treat her with respect. Nathan will do as you want. I want his dinner to be as immaculate as possible. Don't let me down. On the next day, Mother starts dressing you and Nathan for the coming dinner. You see red all around her eyes. She has been crying for a long time. It hurts just to look at her. Nathan starts whining quietly. You and Nathan are dressed in new doublets, your tousled hair brushed into shape. Gloria is told to stay in her room. Father appears wearing his best suit. Mother is in a humble brown dress, looking pale. Grandfather has an uncharacteristically contented look about him. You hear the sound of wheels and hooves against the cobbles in the yard. Then a pair of dainty heels come clacking. The antechamber is completely quiet and still. Fearing Grandfather's observant eye, the door opens. Ooh, boom! You see your guest. Beautiful, dark-haired woman in a dress of elegant deep blue. Ich dachte jetzt, das wäre so eine alte Schabracke oder sowas. Okay. Father takes the hand of Lady Elodar and kisses it, showering her in compliments. Grandfather's face is beaming in her presence. No one even bothers to introduce Mother.
Baroness, allow me to introduce you Robert's son, Volibert and Nathan Brante. Frankly, it's his eldest, Stefan, who deserves the most attention, but currently he is studying in Eterna with other young noblemen like himself. It is my hope that his younger sons will also make me proud one day.
Grandfather eyes you with a probing look. How will you act in front of the Baroness? Will you accept her here next to your mother, your father's rightful wife? Dazu müsste ich doch jetzt wissen, ob... Es klingt doch eher, als wäre das okay hier, oder? Mehrere Frauen zu haben oder eine Nebenfrau und eine Hauptfrau und eine gute Partie zu machen. Wenn das so ist, warum sollte ich mich dann darüber aufregen? Greet the Baroness politely, walk away with Mother, maintain your composure, you read with restraint and avoid getting too involved in the event. Demand that Mother be introduced.
kiss her hand following father's example. Da meine Mutter mir beigebracht hat, dass ich meinen Lot ertragen muss, wird sie stolz auf mich sein, wenn ich das hier mit ihr zusammen tue. You follow father's example and kiss the Baroness's fingers gently. Her laughter fills the antechamber, ringing like chimes. You gallantly offer to lead her to the sitting room. Lady Elodar graciously agrees. Behind you, or back, you can hear mother sobbing. Grandfather and Baroness Elodar engage in small talk over dinner. She tells him of the woes of litigation over her late husband's inheritance, and he advises her like the judge he is. Father is mostly silent, only getting in a word or two. You do your absolute best to behave yourself. After the decorous farewells to Lady Elodar, Father quietly thanks you for your model behavior. The morning after, he leaves for Eterna with Grandfather to visit Stefan. Mother spends almost an entire day in her bedroom. You cannot bring yourself to speak to her. Wie würde man in so einer Welt jetzt Tränen und Traurigkeit sehen und Wut? Ich meine, ich müsste das wissen, ich lebe ja da. Aber würde man sagen, okay, das ist etwas, was man überwinden muss? Vielleicht wäre Alkohol gut in so einer Welt. Father returns from the capital in a quiet rage. You overhear your parents talking. Apparently, Grandfather has already poisoned Stefan's mind against him, and he greeted Father with cold hostility. The name of Baroness Elodar is never mentioned in the house again. Okay, meine Sympathie bei meiner Mutter ist ein bisschen runtergegangen. Ja, das ist willkommen in der Welt, die du kreiert hast, Mutter. Und Gregor, ja, ist indifferent. Das ist gut. Das ist ein Aufstieg. Der hat mich eben noch umgebracht. Father... Achso, immer versuche ich das nochmal zu lesen. Das, also reizlich sollte man das nicht machen. Reputation +1 und Unity -1. Ja, ich habe die Familie jetzt ausgeglichen irgendwie. Ist schon okay. Ich glaube, das läuft gut. So, meine Kindheit ist fast vorbei, oder? The Kaleidoscope. Father now checks on your studies often and nitpicks you for sitting or eating or speaking in an incorrect fashion. Once he becomes so annoyed that he says that he wishes Stefan had been the one to stay home instead of you. You never expected to hear these words from your father of all people. Grandfather's trip to the capital took longer than expected. It feels lighter around the house without his presence. You allow yourself a little change of scenery. Instead of your room, you now busy yourself with reading and calculations in the sitting room across from the open door to the yard. Gloria has joined you today. She has already helped you progress through several complex passages in the book. Right now she seems preoccupied with a strange tube. Aren't you hurt by the way Grandpa treats you, you ask? Gloria just shrugs. Grandfather always says they should get rid of me. I'm used to it now. He hurts you a lot worse because you are closer to him. Just have to stay out of his way, that's it. She shows you the strange tube she has been holding all day. Look, it's a kaleidoscope. Got it as a gift. Want to see inside? Excited by the idea, you close the book and peer into the tiny hole in one end of the tube. Your eyes seize a multitude of intricate patterns. Each turn of the tube reveals a new web of interwoven colors. They mesmerize you. The kaleidoscope turns the fire burning in the fireplace into a cavalry made of flames. You are riding at the front of the fiery horseman, ready to face the enemy. Grandfather's face emerges from the intersecting lines and you swing the kaleidoscope like a sword, cutting it in half. Now you look at the blue sky through the window. The patterns are unending, secretive and calm and peaceful, just like Father's smile before Grandfather's invasion. The deep blue gives way to a scattering of gold radiating gentle warmth like mother's arms. This fleeting beauty too soon gives way to a hypnotic new pattern. Again and again you see your family in these interconnecting figures as they come together and break apart. And in the middle of this golden glow, you see Gloria's green eyes gazing at you observantly.
Your sister left you long ago, the books are abandoned and time slips away unchecked, but you are still busy peering into the kaleidoscope. Order emerges from the chaos before your eyes again and again, but you cannot preserve it, no matter how you try. You are caught in an inner conflict. There is so much that can be done with this kaleidoscope. Should you take it apart? Or ask Gloria how it works? Or keep enjoying the patterns it shows you? But you still have lessons to do today. Take it apart, keep looking through the kaleidoscope, return to your studies. Also natürlich, ne, das Auseinandernehmen wäre so diese typische Anekdote, die man aus seiner Kindheit erzählt, dass man etwas Schönes kaputt gemacht hat, weil man wissen wollte, wie es funktioniert. Weiter durchgucken, ne, fliehe ich aus dieser Welt. Ich bin eigentlich zufrieden mit mir im Moment. Ich habe das Gefühl, dass je mehr ich höre auf die Erwachsenen, desto mehr ist es okay. Vor allem deshalb, weil dann die Erwachsenen mit ihren Entscheidungen selbst klarkommen müssen. Wenn die dann unzufrieden sind und unglücklich sind, ist es deren Problem. Aber ich habe meinen Teil getan. Und da ich mich für die Welt interessiere, nicht nur für dieses Ding, das vor mir ist, sondern für die größeren Zusammenhänge, werde ich meine Studien fortsetzen. You put the kaleidoscope away and return to studying the book. There is so much you have to discuss with Gloria. You cannot help but wonder, what things did she see there? First, your lessons. When Father walks in, he sees you hard at work over the book. He chuckles in approval, then spots the kaleidoscope on the table next to you, puts the toy to his eye, then freezes still for a moment. It takes him an effort to put it back down. Then he praises you for being diligent and leaves. When today's section of the book is finished, take the toy upstairs to your sister's room and tell her what you saw in it. Gloria smiles. When today's section... You take, das ist komisch, oder? Das wirkt wie ein Imperativ. Gloria smiles, knowing what you felt. I once saw a ballroom full of dancers. I watched it for an entire hour. My hands even got sore. You spend a long time with your sister discussing the kaleidoscopic figures, and you feel a strong connection to her. The toy has brought you closer together, made you interconnected, just like the lines and figures in its colorful eye. Ja, und trotzdem habe ich währenddessen studiert und war gehorsam. Ich bin wirklich ein guter Zusammenbringer der Ordnung, habe ich das Gefühl. Sweet temptation. Grandfather's visits are no longer a cause for fear and panic in the house. He has become something you are used to, something nagging, yet not unordinary, like a splinter or a stain on your trousers. The tension still remains, however. Grandfather's disdain for everyone in the house is so palpable, it almost stings for real. Your lessons with the tutor are done for today. You are walking down the stairs when you spot Gloria peeping into the sitting room through a slightly open door. You sneak up on your sister and tap her lightly on the shoulder. She's startled. Oh, it's you, Wallibert. Look, Grandpa's eating something. Grandfather is sitting on the sofa, flipping through a book with one hand and reaching for a glass bowl with another now and then. Inside the bowl, you see candied fruit. Sweet confectionery forbidden to the common estate, like all sweet things. Yet Grandfather's face shows no pleasure as he keeps consuming the high-born treats. The clock strikes 3. Grandfather rises from his seat, puts away the bowl on a shelf and leaves for the yard. He always takes a walk in the city at this time. Gloria nudges you with her elbow and looks at the candy bowl when you look at her. First emotion you feel is fear, but next comes curiosity, and it is stronger. Stefan used to boast that candied fruit tastes incredible. Now you have a perfect opportunity to try it. Die verbotene Frucht, nicht wahr? Eva bringt mich dazu, und wenn ich sie nasche, dann werde ich aus dem Paradies geworfen. You try a candied fruit first. The sugar starts to melt as soon as you put it on your tongue. It is so sweet. You have never eaten anything as good as this. Take the whole bowl off the shelf and give it to your sister. She takes the fruit and brings it to her mouth, carefully, like a rare treasure. There is a thumping on the stairs, footsteps accompanied by the knocking of a walking stick. Der Stock, der mir den Schädel eingeschlagen hat. You have no idea Why? But grandfather is back. You quickly hide behind the sofa and pull Gloria after you, but she is frozen in place with the bowl in her hands. The door opens. Grandfather's menacing figure advances on Gloria. His hand seizes her arm. Will sie jetzt auch noch umbringen?
You squalid, ungrateful, low-born child! How dare you bite the hand that feeds you? You and your trollop of a mother would be sleeping in a ditch if it weren't for my spineless son. The sweet and pleasant things in life are for the noble estate, not for the likes of you. Did you forget your lot? His hand swings and hits Gloria on the cheek. She falls to the floor right next to where you are hidden. Her fingers glisten with the warm melted sugar that brought you here. Grandfather advances again, his walking stick ready, but then he sees you huddling behind the armchair. Please don't hurt him, Sir BRANTE. This is all my fault. He tried to stop me. Der will schon wieder jemanden umbringen, oder? Wie oft ist Großvater eigentlich umgebracht worden? Lass es uns rausfinden. You can already see a bruise on Gloria's cheek. This is only the beginning of her punishment. Gloria was caught red-handed, unlike you. You can still avoid your punishment. What is it then, milksop? Milksop? Did you try the sugar too, or were you trying to stop this piece of filth like she said?
Ehrlich gesagt hätte ich ihn gern gemockt, aber wegen meines Lebenswandels funktioniert das nicht. Ne? Ich sage die Wahrheit. Die Wahrheit sagen hat mir auch schon im Spielzeugladen Glück gebracht. You stand up and tell the truth, even though it takes you an effort to do it. You actually ate a candied fruit, but Gloria only touched it. You hope this will help your sister avoid punishment. You are quickly proven wrong. Nee, habe ich nicht erwartet, ehrlich gesagt. Grandfather's face is red with rage. He strikes you both with his walking stick, blow for blow. Gehen wir jetzt beide drauf? He keeps hitting you until he grows tired, and then he leaves you where you are. Er scheint den Kopf verfehlt zu haben, okay. Soon enough, Mother comes in to find the two of you on the floor, too afraid to move. She shakes her head in disappointment. You are badly hurt and covered in bruises, yet she still forces you to kneel and recite the precepts of the lots and how important it is to follow them. Wenn ich das in Deutsch übersetzen sollte, wie würde ich Lot? Das Geschick. Geschick ist so doppelsinnig, ne? Geschicklichkeit irgendwie. Das Los wäre es eigentlich, ne? Das Los, doch, das passt. Then you stand before father and grandfather and swear never to take things that do not belong to you again. Ich möchte betonen, dass ich hier nicht die Wahl hatte, dass die Geschichte mich da durchgeführt hat. Großvater respektiert mich jetzt mehr. Wenn ich ihn noch ein paar Mal prügeln lasse, dann bin ich sein bester Freund. Aber mein Wille wird gebrochen. Ja, mal schauen. Vielleicht kann ich mir den Willen ja wieder leisten, wenn ich älter bin. The Sacrament. Father and Mother have been focused on Nathan and you since the early morning. Instead of breakfast, you are told to say your prayers, wash your hands and faces, and get dressed in plain white shirts. Today is the day of the sacrament. Mother, I want to go play in the yard. Yeah, you're in for a surprise. No playing today. You and Wallybird are big boys now. It is time for you both to have your first sacrament. No one can live without a lot. I don't want a lot. Be quiet and listen. You were born commoners, so you must accept a low-born lot before the twins. When you grow up, you will get a chance to earn a noble lot. That's fair. Father and Mother take you to the carriage. Nathan is hungry. He starts whining. Grandfather is the last to get in the carriage. His eyes are on you and your brother, looking for every fault. Soon the carriage is moving along the streets of Anisoch, slowly and solemnly. One more turn and you see the colossal white building marked by two massive pillars. For the first time in your life, you are to enter the Church of the Twin Gods. You enter the gate and walk under the splendorous dome of the church. The church hall is divided into two halves. They are drastically different from one another. The floor on one side is rough and jagged, covered in dried brown spots, while the floor on the other is made of smooth marble. Das ist ein schönes Konzept für eine Kirche, würde ich sagen. The commoners kneel on the jagged floor and the well-dressed nobles and their families sit on pews. Father and grandfather leave you to sit on one of the nobles' pews. Okay. Mother walks to the rough stone of the commoner's side and gets down on her knees. You see her wince in pain, for the low-born estate shall suffer in the house of the faith. The church acolytes surround you and lead you to the altar, where you and other children will take your sacrament this day. Interessante Frage, ob wenn es ein körperlich schmerzhaftes Erlebnis wäre, in die Kirche zu gehen. Die Kirche, eine Religion, die man würdigt und verehrt. Würde sich Schmerz in etwas Positives verwandeln? Würde man dann so ein masochistischer Märtyrer-Typ? Oder gäbe es eine Alternative dazu? Before you stands a tall priest dressed in black, with a sword in one hand and a hefty whip in the other. Nathan's whining grows louder. He dislikes this place. Ja, kein Wunder. He's scared. Wie alt ist der denn jetzt? Überlege ich gerade. Wann kriegt man denn sein Sakrament? Soll das nicht wie bei uns in der Kirche sein, dass man alt genug ist, ja, einen blutigen Rücken zu ertragen? Dann vielleicht geprügelt wird? You remain quiet, but your stomach roils in uneasy anticipation. First child to take the sacrament is a jaunty little boy from a family of nobles. The priest extends the sword before him and recites the words of his lot. From this day forth he will fight and rule and pursue the arts, his mind now forever free from the throes of suffering, for he now belongs to the noble lot. The boy proudly touches the flat of the blade with his lips. Nathan is next to receive the sacrament. He suddenly snaps out of his fearful trance and tries to break free, but the acolyte pulls him toward the altar, throws him on the jagged floor on the low-born side. Sharp edges bite into Nathan's knees as he lands, spraying drops of red around him. I don't wanna, Wallybird. Why do they want to whip me? What did I do? Hat Mutter ihm nichts erzählt? Vom Los? Ja, es sollte ihm leichter fallen, als es tut. Da wurde irgendwas versäumt in seiner Erziehung. You try to break free and run to Nathan's side. You want to give him courage and protect him. The acolyte's grip on you is too firm. You feel utterly helpless. Your little brother has to face the world all by himself. The priest starts reciting the words of the lot as he swings the lash over Nathan's shoulders. From this day forth, Nathan, thou shalt endure and work and suffer. Thou shalt be ardent in thy labour and humble in obedience to thy rulers. And now cometh thy first true suffering, which thou must accept with gratitude. The lash cracks. It strikes his right shoulder. It strikes his left shoulder. The blows are so powerful that Nathan falls to the floor. The priest tells him to rise. He has received his lot. Och, 2 Schläge, das geht ja noch. Nathan gets to his feet and drags himself towards Mother, his knees torn and bloodied, his spirit broken. It is your turn. Your feet will not move. You can barely muster enough strength to walk to the altar. You get down on your knees. Wäre besser gewesen, wenn ich vorher geprügelt worden wäre, ne? Dann hätte ich ihm zeigen können, wie man das trägt, und als vorbildlicher Bruder, ne? Er hätte mir das abgeguckt. You get down on your knees and feel the sharp stones below. So sharp your clothing cannot protect you. Your skin begins to burn. Um meine Kleidung zu bewahren, hätte ich vielleicht irgendwie kurze Hosen tragen sollen. The acolyte forces your head down. You feel the lash being drawn above you, ready to strike. The priest's words are for you now. This is thy sacrament. Thou shalt work and endure and suffer. Thou art about to receive thy first true suffering by the sacred lash. Dost thou accept thy lot? Natürlich werde ich das machen. Allein um das zu tun, erstmal das zu tun, was hier alle ertragen mussten. Und nicht schon wieder Schande über die Familie zu bringen. Gut, dass ich hier lesen kann, ne, dass ich die feindlich meinen Kopf verhebe. Catch the lash before it strikes your shoulder. Nein, ich akzeptiere das mal. Was passiert dann? Perception geht hoch. Determination geht runter. Warum? Ich bin entschlossen, es zu akzeptieren. The moment before the lash reaches you stretches out into eternity. Its sound approaches you slowly as it slices through the air. Kommt der Sound nicht erst nach dem Schlag eigentlich?
The whip cracks. It strikes you on the right shoulder. The lash is so heavy it bends your back and forces you to the floor. The lash cracks again. It hits you on the left shoulder. There is blood running down your back. Rise now, commoner, the priest tells you. You stand. Everything looks blurry. You can barely walk on the sharp floor. Mother takes your hand and leads you away from the altar. So, Determination ist jetzt runtergegangen und Perception ist raufgegangen. Represents how attentive you are to other people in the world around you, your ability to comprehend and learn, fits your frame of mind and the skills you have when you grow up. Okay, and Determination. Learns and strength of character, your ability to get your way. Damit bin ich nicht so ganz einverstanden, ne? Das ist meine Determination. Ich habe bisher hier verbal gut begründet, warum ich die Dinge tue. There is agony, but there is also unfathomable tranquility. This is right. This is what you deserve. This is how it should be. This is the way of the world and its laws. From this day forth, you will accept all suffering in life with humility and patience. For you are a commoner. Das heißt, ich habe jetzt die Basis der Zufriedenheit mit der Welt aufgebaut und kann, wenn ich jetzt älter werde, anfangen, diese Zufriedenheit zu prüfen. Und vielleicht Dinge zu ändern an der Welt, wenn ich die Macht dazu habe. You have taken your first sacrament and received the commoner's lot. Ich hoffe, das wird das letzte Mal gewesen sein. Das heißt, ich werde dafür kämpfen, dass ich bald das Noble Lot tragen darf. The mark left on you by the sacrament takes a long, long time to heal. Mother says it is a reminder of your lot, suffering and sufferance, pain and patience. Gloria shows you the mark of the lash on her shoulder one day. She will never disappear. It will never disappear. You are a commoner now. This is the lot you were born into. But Father keeps telling you to study hard, so you may yet earn a different lot and become noble of the mantle. You recall the past with warm sadness. When Stefan still lived with you, or when he wrote to you for a time shortly after he left. Now he thinks it is beneath him to write to the commoners in his family. Mother didn't lock herself in the bedroom as often back then. This changed shortly before Nathan was born. Most importantly, you missed the time before the terrifying figure of your grandfather was constantly looming over you. You learned the true power of the lot only after the head of family's arrival. In grandfather's eyes, no commoner deserves to be treated with kindness. Is this just him, or is it the way of the entire world? The very thought makes you queasy. You are older now. And what's more, you are an elder brother now. You've learned how to care about someone else, how to lead by example, how to teach and protect. Soon you are a small boy no longer. As the days pass, play gradually gives way to laborious study. Now your choices will decide your place in the bizarre and ruthless world of adulthood. Your childhood years are over. Okay, Destiny. Important life events that had happened to you in this chapter. That happened to you, huh? Okay. Ich wurde geboren. Siblings Stefan and Laura took their first sacrament. Your younger brother Nathan is born. Das sind alles nicht unbedingt Sachen, die ich in der Hand hatte. Ne? Your grandfather returned to the family. Ich bin gestorben. Kurz, doch bei Großvaters ersten Besuch, wohlgemerkt. Und schließlich bin ich sakramentiert worden. Important life events that had happened to you. Achso, immer noch. Beyond. Ja. Ansonsten war nichts Wichtiges. Mein Tod war das einzig Wichtige in meiner Kindheit. Determination. Ich habe ein bisschen zugelegt an Spine. Nicht Spinelessness. Ne? Und Perception. Ich bin ein sehr, sehr aufmerksamer Typ. Willpower. Hat sich nicht viel verändert. Muss man sagen, oder? Ich habe mit etwas angefangen. Und habe jetzt 2 oder so. Also habe sogar einen mehr. Das ist nicht so schlecht. Ich bin zufrieden mit meiner Kindheit. Okay. Also dafür, dass es ein Demo sein soll, ist natürlich interessant, dass es jetzt tatsächlich noch weitergeht.
es ist schon sehr langes Demo, ne? Und ich drücke gleich mal auf Continue, weiß aber dann nicht, ob das Demo dann beendet ist oder ob ich in das nächste übergehe. Ich mache das jetzt mal. Tatsächlich. Es würde weitergehen. Ja, aber das werde ich jetzt nicht noch auf mich nehmen. Das reicht mir als Einblick in das Spiel. Oh, ja. Also das meiste habe ich schon während des Spiels gesagt, glaube ich. Rein textorientiert, wie man sieht, ist gut, das gefällt mir. Ist interaktive Literatur, mehr als ein Spiel im eigentlichen Sinne. Und das ist sehr gelungen. Es ist gut geschrieben. Es ist nicht... es ist wirklich auf den Punkt. Jede Szene hat eine Bedeutung. Und ich werde nicht belästigt mit Kram, der reiner Flavor sein soll. Das finde ich gut. Ebenfalls gut finde ich die düstere Härte der Welt, die dargestellt wird, die mich zu Entscheidungen zwingt. Ich habe natürlich an einigen Stellen wieder das Gefühl gehabt, so wie mit den Süßigkeiten und so weiter, dass ich nicht einige Stellen nicht selbst entscheiden konnte, die ich gerne hätte entscheiden wollen. Und natürlich habe ich das Gefühl, dass die Geschichte einem beibringen will, dass das Los, das man hier hat, dass die Welt nicht gerecht ist, in der dieses Los so stark Einfluss hat auf alles. Aber ich kann auch nicht sagen, wie es weitergeht. An einer Stelle war ich völlig raus. Welche Stelle war das nochmal? Der Zuschauer wird es wissen. An einer Stelle war ich raus, da dachte ich, ach, jetzt wird mir das nahegebracht und jetzt werde ich bei der Hand genommen. Aber es bleibt offen, oder? Am Ende. Für die Sachen, für die ich mich entschieden habe. Ich habe wirklich das Gefühl, dass ich meine Familie näher zusammengebracht habe. Und auch die Stelle, als ich die Hand der Homewreckerin geküsst habe, hat sich als gut herausgestellt. Vielleicht ist die Entscheidung nicht schlecht, zu sagen, dass ich meinen Eltern folge, zumindest in der Kindheit. Wenn ich jetzt das Spiel weiterspielen würde, hätte ich durchaus Lust, anders zu reagieren. Dann würde ich mir anmaßen, Dinge in Frage zu stellen. Ja, und von daher keine Frage, dass ich das Spiel irgendwie mal weiterspielen werde, denn es interessiert mich, wo das Spiel mich hinlässt. Wie der Name Volleybert vermuten lässt, wollte ich am Anfang eigentlich das Ganze eher locker nehmen und ins Lächerliche ziehen, weil ich auch noch nicht wusste, wie das Spiel so funktioniert. Jetzt hätte ich das gegenteilige Gefühl. Also es geht mir jetzt nicht darum, dass ich sage, oh, ich werde der völlige Konformist und tue alles, ne, der Untertan. Spiele hier Heinrich Manns Helden. Ich würde aber auch nicht den Rebellen spielen wollen automatisch. Das ist wiederum zu naheliegend. Schaffen es Autoren heutzutage, einen wirklich freie Entscheidungen treffen zu lassen und zu interagieren, ohne einem irgendeine Ideologie um die Ohren zu hauen? Wenn ich das erwarte, dann bestimmt von einem Spiel, das in Osteuropa gemacht wurde, denn viele Leute, mit denen ich gesprochen habe, die aus dem Land stammen, haben sehr interessante Einstellungen zu den Dingen. Oft waren es jüngere Leute, die selbst zum Beispiel den Kommunismus nicht mehr miterlebt haben, aber deren Eltern natürlich geprägt waren davon und die einem sehr viel kritischer sagen können, warum sie heilfroh sind, dass sich die Welt verändert hat und die nicht so antikapitalistisch und anti-autoritär geprägt sind. Die verstehen zum Beispiel, dass Autorität durchaus eine Sache sein kann, mit der man sich wehren kann. Ja? Man kann stark autoritär sein, um sich gegen bestimmte Dinge zu wehren. Auch eine Regierung, eine neue Regierung, die nach dem Zusammenbruch zum Beispiel des Kommunismus entstanden ist, braucht eine gewisse Autorität, um sich durchzusetzen. Ich will es gar nicht zu politisch machen, aber macht mich sehr neugierig. Werde ich weiterspielen, sobald die Zeit es zulässt. Und vielleicht kann man ja sogar das Demo noch weiterspielen. Das kann ich natürlich ausprobieren. Aber für heute reicht es erstmal. Und ich bedanke mich fürs Durchhalten, fürs Zuschauen. Lesen ist was anderes als bunte Pixel zu sehen, die sich bewegen. Aber vielleicht hat es ja trotzdem irgendwie Spaß gemacht. Tschüss.